Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day so far. My name is Dorothea and I'm a crochet designer and blogger. I make step-by-step tutorials, I talk about yarn, and I share tips and tricks for crocheters. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so you won't miss any of my future videos. It has been a while since I've posted my last video tutorial. I took a short break. I needed some time away from social media and my usual schedule. In the meantime, I was working on my premium crochet pattern, which will be, by the time you watch this video, already available in my pattern shops on Etsy, Ravelry and Love Crochet. I will post a photo of the pattern somewhere here, as well as the link to where you can find it. If you like the dress, please go and check it out. I think it came out super beautiful and I'm very happy with it, especially because it's available in more sizes than the rest of my patterns, which is, I think, a big step forward for me as well. Now let's talk about today's project. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a baby cardigan. The pattern is from my Boho Baby collection, which is slowly growing. This is my fourth pattern from that collection, and I think sadly it will be the last one this year. The Boho collection is more for the summertime, and with the winter time slowly approaching, I will switch to more warm and cozy patterns, maybe shoes, soft cardigans, shawls, hats, those kind of patterns. Something you can make for your child or yourself or give someone as a gift at the end of the year. As always, you can find the link to the written instructions available on my blog, PDF pattern with additional size in my Etsy shop, and all the materials I'm using in this tutorial in the description box below. So without further ado, let me show you what you will need for this tutorial. You will need some yarn. I will be using 100% cotton yarn, Rico Creative Cotton in Aran weight, and you will need around 2 skeins of yarn. Then you will need some DK weight yarn. I will be using Paintbox Yarns Cotton DK yarn in shades Wash Teal, Daffodil Yellow and Bright Peach for 3 lines of slip stitches that we will make at the bottom of the lower part of the cardigan. In addition to that, you will also need 4mm crochet hook, scissors, yarn needle, and a couple of stitch markers. Let's start with the tutorial. We will start with the yoke. Take your main color of yarn and 4mm crochet hook and create a slip knot. Insert the hook into the loop and create a foundation chain made of 45 chains. Turn the row and work 1 single crochet into each of your first 7 chains. Then work 1 half double crochet into the next one. Create 3 half double crochet stitches into the next chain. And this is just the first set of 4 increases. We will increase the number of stitches each row for 8 additional stitches. We will do that by making 3 half double crochet stitches into each stitch marked with a stitch marker from the row below. And as you can see here, I'm placing my stitch marker into the stitch in the middle. So when you make a set of 3 half double crochet stitches, take a stitch markers and mark the stitch in the middle, because that's the stitch where you will make 3 half double crochet stitches in your next row. Work 1 half double crochet into next 4 chains. Work 3 half double crochet stitches into the same chain. Work 1 half double crochet into each of next 16 chains. Work 3 half double crochet stitches into the next one. Work 1 half double crochet stitch into next 4 stitches. Work 3 half double crochet stitches into the next one. Work 1 half double crochet into the next one. Now end the row with 1 single crochet stitch into each of next 7 chains. Here we are at the end of our first row, and we are already getting the right shape of our yoke. You can see all 4 places where we increased in this row, and with stitch markers are marked stitches that we will use in the next row for our new increases. Chain 1 and turn the row. Work 1 single crochet into each of next 7 stitches. Work 1 half double crochet into next 2 stitches. Work 3 half double crochet stitches into the same stitch. Place the marker into the middle one. Work 1 half double crochet into the next 6 stitches. Work 3 half double crochet stitches into the same. Don't forget to place the stitch marker into the middle one. Work 1 half double crochet into each of next 18 stitches. Work 3 half double crochet stitches into the same stitch. Don't forget to place the stitch marker into the middle one. Work 1 half double crochet into each of next 6 stitches. Work 3 half double crochet stitches into the same stitch, place the stitch marker into the middle one, work 1 half double crochet into each of next 2 stitches, and end the row with 1 single crochet into each of last 7 stitches. Our second row is now complete. You can see that the beginning and the end of the yoke is not at the same height as the rest of the yoke. That is because the neckline is usually a bit lower in the front area of each sweater, cardigan or shirt, and that is exactly what we got with starting and ending our rows with single crochet stitches. From now on we will use half double crochet stitches only. Chain 1 and turn the row. We will start the row by working 1 half double crochet stitch into each of first 10 stitches. Then we will work 3 half double crochet stitches into the same stitch. Don't forget to place your stitch marker into the middle one. Work 1 half double crochet stitch into next 8 stitches. 3 half double crochet stitches into the same stitch, place the stitch marker into the middle one, work 1 half double crochet into each of next 20 stitches, work 3 half double crochet stitches into the same stitch, place the stitch marker into the middle one, work 1 half double crochet into each of next 8 stitches, work 3 half double crochet stitches into the same stitch, place the stitch marker into the middle one, end the row by working 1 half double crochet stitches into each of last 10 stitches. So here we are at the end of row 3. Continue working in rows. Work 1 half double crochet into each half double crochet from the row below, with an exception of half double crochet stitches marked with stitch markers, where you have to work 3 half double crochet stitches into the same stitch. And those sets of half double crochet stitches made into the same stitch will increase the number of stitches in each row for 8 new stitches, and that will make the yoke bigger and bigger with each row. Now I would advise you to hop over to my blog, the link is in the description box below, and follow the written instructions there, or you can continue on your own, and as I mentioned before, work 1 half double crochet into each half double crochet and 3 half double crochet stitches into each marked stitch from row below. You can pause the video here and come back when you complete all 11 rows. You already have 3 finished rows and you have to do 8 more to complete the yoke. Let's continue with the lower part of the cardigan. This is the part where we will join the front and back part of the cardigan together and leave out a couple of stitches along the way for the sleeves. As I've mentioned earlier, the beginning and the end of the yoke is our front part, and the side with the highest number of half double crochet stitches, so the opposite side of the front, is the back side of the cardigan. Now fold the yoke in half. We're gonna start crocheting on the front side of the cardigan, then we will continue and skip a couple of stitches for the first sleeve. After that, we will continue with the back part of the cardigan, skip a couple of more stitches for the second sleeve, and then we will end the row on the front part of the cardigan. Do not break the yarn just yet. We will continue working in rows with the same color of yarn as we used for the yoke. Chain 1, which is our turning chain and does not count as a stitch. Turn the row. Now work 1 half double crochet into each of next 19 stitches. Skip next 28 stitches, that is exactly the number of stitches between the next 2 stitches marked with a stitch marker. This includes both mark stitches. Work 1 half double crochet stitch into each of next 38 stitches. Make sure your first half double crochet here is nice and tight. Skip 28 stitches again and work 1 half double crochet into each of next 19 stitches. That should give you exactly 76 stitches in total. I would advise inserting the stitch marker into your very first stitch of the row each time you start a new one, so that you don't lose any of your stitches. Sometimes, especially for beginners, it's hard to figure out what is the last stitch of the row and what the turning chain. So if you place a stitch marker into your first stitch of the row, right after you finish that first stitch makes everything much easier. This also means that you don't have to count each and every single stitch as you go, because if you are repeating rows, as we will here, the same number of stitches over and over again, you just basically follow stitches from one end to another, from one marked stitch to another. So our first row on the lower part of the cardigan is now complete. If we continue counting rows, starting with the very first row on the yoke, then we've just finished row 12. The next row, so row 13, and all the rows that will follow row 13 will be made of double crochet stitches. Chain 2 at the beginning of the row to lift the row to a proper height. Then work 1 double crochet into each of next 76 stitches. When you complete row 13, continue working in rows. Start each row with chain 2 and then work 1 double crochet stitch into each stitch all the way across, so 76 stitches in total. Repeat row 13 8 more times. When you finish all 21 rows, cut the yarn and fasten off. Hide the yarn tails between the stitches and continue with the sleeves. We are going to attach the yarn into the bottom of the armhole and then we are going to work all the way around the armhole to create a sleeve. We are going to make the first one together and then you will go and repeat all the steps that you've learned when we were making the first sleeve for your second one. Take some yarn in beige color, the same yarn weight you were using for the main part of the cardigan, attach the yarn into the bottom of the armhole, chain 1, start in the same stitch and create your first half double crochet stitch. The next thing that we have to make are the sleeves. Create the next one into the row somewhere between your first stitch and the stitch marked with a stitch marker. Work 1 half double crochet into the stitch marked with a stitch marker. Now continue working 1 half double crochet stitch into each stitch all the way across to the next stitch marker. Work 1 half double crochet into the stitch marked with a stitch marker. Work 1 half double crochet into the row between the stitch that was marked with a stitch marker and your first stitch. Then join the round with a slip stitch made into the very first stitch of the round. Your first round is now complete. Let's start with the second one. Chain 1 to lift the round to a proper height. Now work 1 half double crochet into each stitch all the way across, so 31 stitches in total. Join your round with a slip stitch. When you complete round 2, cut the yarn, fasten off, and hide the yarn tails between the stitches. Now we are going to create 3 simple lines made of slip stitches around the last 3 rows of double crochet stitches on the lower part of the cardigan. This part will be made with DK weight yarn, and I will be using a different color for each row. If you are a very tight crocheter and your slip stitches are usually quite tight, try to make those 3 lines of slip stitches with a larger crochet hook that's recommended in the pattern, so maybe use 4.5mm crochet hook instead of 4mm crochet hook. Let's start with row 1. This row is made into the last row of double crochet stitches. Use an orange yarn, work 1 slip stitch into each of next 76 stitches, cut the yarn and fasten off within the yarn ends. Our second round is round 2. This round is made between rows 20 and 21. Use a small amount of yellow yarn, work 1 slip stitch into each of next 76 stitches, then cut the yarn and fasten off within the yarn ends. Our last row is row 3. This row is made between rows 19 and 20. For this row we are going to use blue yarn, work 1 slip stitch into each of next 76 stitches, cut the yarn and fasten off, weave in the yarn ends. Now we are going to work on a hemline. This is going to be one long row. Take a small amount of beige yarn and work single crochet stitches evenly around the cardigan. Start in the right upper corner and work down to the right lower corner. Work 3 single crochet stitches into that corner. Work single crochet stitches all the way evenly across to the left lower corner. Work 3 single crochet stitches into that corner and continue up to the left upper corner. Finish up with cutting the yarn, then fasten off. Hide the yarn tails between the stitches and continue with the strap that goes along the neckline. The very last thing that we are going to make on this cardigan is one long strap that goes along the neckline. So take a small amount of Aran weight yarn and create a chain made of 35 chains. Attach the strap to the cardigan in the left upper corner, right where you finish the edging. Work one slip stitch into each stitch of the first row on the yoke and all the way to the next upper corner. Then continue with a chain made of 35 chains. Create a nice and firm knot on both sides of strap, trim the edges, tie the strap in a beautiful bow, and your cardigan is complete. Okay guys, that would be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've learned something new. Don't forget to give this video a like, share it with your friends, and leave a comment below telling me what is your favorite summer crochet or knit pattern. Please share photos of your work with me on Instagram using #crobepatterns so I can find them and give them a big heart. It's so nice to see how creative you all are. It's very inspiring and it helps me to pick up my crochet hook and encourage me to make more patterns for you guys. A special thanks to all of you who are buying my crochet patterns. It really means a lot. Your support makes these tutorials possible, so thank you very much. Have a beautiful day and until next time. Bye!